So we're going to be explaining liquid for loops. So tell me what you get, Jocelyn. What do you get about liquid for loops, and what don't you get?
Nothing.
You don't get anything about it. So do you understand that I can print this? Let's see. So let's say we have some front matter here, a YAML file, and this front matter has an array of different, or object of different keys, or an array of different groups of content. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a listing of, I'm not sure what you would call these in YAML, but you have a listing of groups of content. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. There's 3 things in here. You understand how to, so if I wanted to access, for instance, board horizontal dot, well, so you got to say page first. Yeah, page dot title. You understand that, right? And that will print out my title there. You understand that. But do you understand that now I can go to column board? I can also, so you understand that that was referencing a string. That title is a string because it's just letters or numbers or something like that. Do you understand that listing, on the other hand, is an array of groups of content? So you understand that. So you have column board. Where are we? Column board dot column board 1, because you have column board 1 and 2. Is how you've named it. And then you have listing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to print out, in Liquid, it's going to print out a JSON feed of, and this is going to print the array out in JSON. You've seen JSON before, right? You know what JSON is.
Yeah.
It's a way to list objects and data. You understand how, like, let's take this and put it into, like a .json file? New file .json. So you've seen this before. I don't know why it's not. It should be highlighting properly, but whatever.
Okay.
So, I see. It wants, probably, I don't know, it probably wants like an array here or something. Let's see. I'm not sure what it wants. Do I need to format this all for you? Do you understand that?
No, I get it.
There's body. Let's put this at the end. Probably should see this. I wish I knew how to write JSON. Oh, probably JSON doesn't want this stuff. That does. I have no idea why. Oh, probably it wants, like, it's not printing it out in JSON. It's printing it out in some weird thing. But you see, that's basically what it's doing. It's printing out in a Ruby array. That's what it looks like it's doing. So, but now I'm reformatting it to JSON. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't want you to have to watch me format it into JSON, but I think you need to see what. It'd be nice if we can. That's why, you have to, like. There's probably a filter. Actually, what you can do to make it JSON is you can add this filter, JSON, in it, and then you print it out again, and it still doesn't work. Or does it? You would think that it would work, but it doesn't. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it works. You would think that would work. It's not. Anyway, you see what it is now. You have groups of content. So if I were to just say .title, listing .title, that would be bad because I don't even know what would happen here. Let's see. It doesn't even do anything. I wonder if I could say .1.title in Liquid. No. You just put ASDF to make sure. Yeah, that works. So that's not working. Let's say, I wonder if you can do this, 1.title. Yeah, so you can say 1. I wonder if 0 works. Yeah, so 0 works. 0 is the first one. That's the second one. So if you wanted to target these directly, you know, you could do something like this. Which is exhausting. I mean, it's an exhausting job to do this. Body. Right? You looking? Because I mean, I really don't want to do this. This is crazy. Yeah. So just taking a long time, and you would have to do this for each one, and you'd have to print this out 3 different times, and then here's the biggest problem: is what if you have 4? Like this seems like it works okay now, but you have 3. But what if there was another one down here? What if you needed another one of these things down here, right? Like, I mean, that wouldn't be good, would it? You'd have to have, here's the 4th one. Like, and then you only have 3 inside of your thing, so then the client calls up and says, oh no, we've added 4, but it's not showing 4. And then you say, okay, I'll bill you X amount of dollars an hour, and it's going to take, you know, and you have to refigure out all this code and what's happening, and then you've got to go in here and add this, and then commit it up to Git, see if it works, break the live site, all this stuff, right? So a for loop will help because it will go through all, and it will know how many there are, and I'll leave 4 there just in case. I think we had some previous code that had the for loop, yeah. So let's go back to the for loop code and show you how that might work. There's a for loop. All right. So now the for loop will say, I'm a for loop, and I'm smart, and I know that whatever you're going to feed me into the for loop is going to be an array. I think it works with objects, whatever. I don't know really the difference between them when it comes to Liquid. So you have an array of different things. And you're smart enough to give me an array. For each one of these arrays, I'm going to let you style that particular thing as a variable. Each time I go through, I'm assuming you're going to want to do the same thing for all of these. You are. You're going to want to do the same things for each one of these things, right? If we go, right? So let's see what the final result is. For each one of these things, you want it to have a bold wrapped around it, and then you want it to, or whatever styles you have, and you want to have this special style with a font size, whatever text. That's what you want to do for each one of these things. So the for loop, that's true. That is a true thing. You're shaking your head, but that's true. For each one of these things, like, you want to do the same thing, don't you? You want to wrap an info around the title, and you want to wrap this text thing around the body. Is that something you want to do for each one of those things? Right, so that's what you're doing. And look, it works whether there's 4 or whether there is 2. It still works. Or whether there's 3. It still works. Or whether there's 1. It still works.
But in our case, we're not trying to like just substitute its classes. We're trying to substitute the content in each area. So how does it know? Go back to Adam. How does it know that like when there's 4 of these, the specific content the client writes in one area is going to be for this body only and not for this one? You
because
know,
the client's adding 4 different things, and I mean that we'd have to go into the. You want to go? Let's. When we could take it there too. We have some time in the screencast, so let's go to forestry because that's what we're using to kind of my sites, host out my pad. I mean, this is a test site. We don't even know what the client's going to call it yet. We're just kind of like, you know, it's a small client. I'm just trying to figure out this forestry stuff really with it. Oh no, another user is editing this document, so it's okay. So I'm going to unpublish. I don't know what. Whatever, let's add a new thing. Test. Just so you can see. You're asking me, like, where's the content coming from, and how does the client know
my
the
question
difference?
is,
So here's column board. Here's
like,
column board 1. Here's listing. And then you can add multiple listings. And in each one of these listings, you can have a title and you can have a body.
Yes, but how does Adam know that only the title that goes in here, for example, will only substitute like this
How
title?
does Adam know? Adam doesn't know anything. It's a text editor.
How are you telling, what order are you giving for it to know which exact one.
It's going to start
to
from the
substitute.
top. It's going to start from the top, and then it goes down. So the top
But what
one
if
is the first.
after it's all like edited, what if the client goes back and only edits one body?
Because they can change the order. So let's add.
So doesn't that change the order?
So here's title 1. Title 1, back. And here's title 2, back. And then you're going to put title 2 above title 1. You're going to publish it. You're going to publish it, right? It's going to go to GitHub, and it's going to update the front matter, and the front matter will now have a different order. This title 1, I think in this case, would be below title 2, even if they change it. That's what would happen. And then the for each loop doesn't care about, it just cares about what order is it from top to bottom. And it will go, the top one will be first, the second one will be second, and the client has the ability in here to drag them up and down.
So they're not solid in space. They just can move up and down regardless.
Yeah, they can move up and down. They can order them in here, which is great. That's good for us too. The for loop helps us there too, because now the client can order which ones are first and which ones are second. And in our system, on our side, our system actually knows, hey, the clients reordered them.
It's going to reflect in the system.
Exactly. So it's helpful. Do you understand now what a for loop is? Great. So is that it? Any more questions? You could do it. You think you could do it yourself? No? Well, I'll push this and you can play with it and have a go and see what it's like. All right.